and it's very cool. Oh my gosh.
What we do, get to go back.
Just what up, yes.
Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga! Fight back! Fight back!
Yes sir, today I get to cover some Peak, but before I get to do that I wanted to do a quick service announcement, so if you don't want to listen to that, just go ahead and skip to the time above. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in on my content so far. I hope you guys enjoy watching this as much as I had fun making it. Most of the clips you'll see were recorded by my friends and I, and the clips that don't belong to us will have the names of the original content creators on the screen. Now that that's over, let me start yapping about. One of the few and only controversies about this game is whether it's too difficult or are you just ass at it. And surprisingly enough, the answer to both is yes. On one hand, the game is definitely difficult and can seem overwhelming at the beginning, especially if this is one of your first Soulsborne games. The game has a huge learning curve, everything from having to learn new combos for every boss you fight, how to level up your character, and even weapon scaling can all seem extremely intimidating as a first timer. And if you're having a hard time and it's been more than 4 hours, maybe it's time to call a doctor. Jokes aside, there's plenty of things you could do to have an easier time, ranging from overpowered weapons to talisman and armor combinations, magic buffs, and even throwables. Shit, if you really want an easy time, just grab a decent summon and make a bleed build and you'll roll through everything. But if you care about your safety, you will not tell anyone online because you will get shunned and crucified. On the other hand, you'll have other people telling you that if you use any of that stuff, the game is too easy. And these players are the kind of people that learn the pattern of raindrops just to avoid getting wet. These dudes are also huge fans of... If you reach the point to where the base game isn't difficult enough, then it might be time for you to try a challenge run. These range from all sorts of simple stuff like the starter class challenge, in which you beat the whole game by never changing your starter weapon or armor set, going all the way up to a masochist dream with runs like Deathless, no dodging, or the most insane one of all in my opinion, a no-hit run. And while the others seem difficult, a no-hit run is a completely different fucking monster. Now that doesn't just mean not getting hit in a boss fight, that means not getting hit, period. Anytime you get smacked by a random enemy, you have to restart that run. The only plausible damage you could take in those runs is fall damage. Besides that, it's back to the start screen with you. And let me just put that into perspective for you by crunching some numbers. Elden Ring has sold over 30 million copies as of April 2025, and it's speculated that this run has been completed by a few dozen to a couple hundred people, so I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that 999 players have completed it. That's still only 0.003%, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't hate myself enough to try any of these. Not yet, at least. So my friends and I ended up coming up with our own challenge, and we dubbed it the Caveman Run. And if you want to give it a go, here are the rules. Pick that Reg class. You're not allowed to put on any armor or switch out that club. You're not allowed to farm enemies because Caveman didn't know what farming was. You're allowed to use any talismans that you want, and your only Ashes of War allowed are roaring buffs and simple stuff like wild strikes. And here's a few clips of what it looks like. But for now, I think it's time that we should move on to... This shit right here is what I've been most excited to talk about. When it comes to Soulsborne bosses, they're easily some of the most recognizable, challenging, and memorable parts of any of these games. And Elden Ring doesn't disappoint in this aspect, however, it has a very interesting way to make things difficult. Either give them unique moves and AoE attacks that once mastered they feel like a dance to the death, or Miyazaki really looked at his developers and said, turn that motherfucker into a fidget spinner. Now I'm obviously not going to talk about every boss, but I will tell you two that I love, one that I hate with every fiber in my body, and one that I fear every time I step into the boss arena. Let's start off with the boss I genuinely hate. Fire Giant. And it's not like I find him particularly hard. It's not the giant health bar, pun intended. It's the fact that this big bastard decides to roll all the way across the boss arena, and that bitch is the size of a small battlefield map, and then you just have to chase this man like it's a goddamn game of tag. However, you do have one saving grace, and that's Torrent. Besides having to play a brutal game of tag, it's a solid fight. Now, my two favorite bosses to fight have always been Malekith the Murder Kitty and Big Papa Godfrey, aka Horaloo. Now, just take a second to admire Peak, bask in their greatness.
Boing boing, get the dick out your mouth, dummy.
Alright, let me chill with the glaze. Now, Malekith's first phase is a pushover, and if you're struggling with that, then just head out and walk on over to Weenie Hut Jr. But his second phase decides to crank shit up to 11 with some moves that feel straight out of an anime. Getting hit with instant death feels like getting an instant ass whooping. And if your vigor isn't high enough, then it feels like it's getting drained by Prime Riley Reid. The way this man hops around grabbing onto pillars and just flips through the air genuinely feels like he's just trying to style on you. I have no complaints about this fight other than the fact that I wish that second phase came with a full health bar. And coincidentally enough, that's the same problem I have with Horaloo. This man is my all-time favorite boss fight. Besides having a great design, being an integral part of the game and the lore, he feels like more of an actual final boss than Radagon or the Elden Beast. One of those just feels like a spectacle, and the other one just hits really hard. But not Godfrey. First phase is full of moves that take a second to get used to. He hits like a truck, dashes forward just to put you back into your place. And once you get this man into his second phase, you get one of the most raw and badass cutscenes where he kills his literal spirit animal and unlocks his old fighting spirit. Then he proceeds to drop his axe and decides to fight you with his bare fucking hands. Then he pulls out moves that would make WWE wrestlers jealous. He has a stomp that reaches across the arena, and the move where he splits the earth below you and has a volcano explode at your fucking feet. That right there is peak Soulsborne. Now, it's time for the boss I fear. Now, Malenia is the only boss in all of Elden Ring that I genuinely fear every time I step into her arena. It's not like her moves hit particularly hard. It's not the waterfall dance. I can respect the 10-hit combo move. It's the fact that she heals with every hit she lands. Like getting hit by her wasn't punishment enough, except for some of you freaks. I know some of y'all would love getting kicked by her. And if your vigor is high enough to survive her waterfall dance, she gains about a quarter of her health, taking away the progress you made. Honestly, this is one of the few bosses that feels like you have to no-hit her. However, I wouldn't have that fight any other way. It just means I have more room to grow. But now I should move on to... I don't have much to say besides Elden Ring might not be your favorite Soulsborne game, but it's definitely FromSoft's magnum opus. Elden Ring definitely has a steep learning curve, but it rewards any and all players who pushed through and got good to the end. I really hope you guys enjoyed your 100 sub special, even though we're closer to 200 than we are 1.
Yeah, that's my fault, and thank you to anybody who made it to the end of the video. But for now, that wraps up my video. I hope Santa brought you an oil Doprani. Please like and subscribe. This was so much more difficult to make than I thought it would be. Have a great day and Happy New Year's.